How many times have you looked in the mirror and felt the weight of everything you almost became? You know that feeling, the quiet, gnawing frustration of looking at a stack of half-finished projects, abandoned ideas and dreams that are currently gathering dust in the graveyard of tomorrow. You started with fire in your eyes and a vision in your heart that somewhere between the dream and the reality, the spark died. You aren't alone. That, let me be brutally honest, this cycle is stealing your potential day by agonizing day. Most people think they fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or resources. They are wrong. They fail because they have mastered the art of beginning, but they had never learned the science of finishing. If you have ever felt like you are running a race that never reaches a finish line, then listen closely. Today, we are going to dismantle the excuses that keep you trapped in a life of almost and unlock the secret to becoming a finisher. Stay with me, because by the time this is over, you will never look at your unfinished work the same way again. Illusion of movement is a psychological trap that frequently ensnares individuals at the onset of a new endeavor. When you first conceive an idea, your brain releases a surge of dopamine associated with the novelty of the vision. You channel this excitement into preparatory activities, researching, buying equipment, creating elaborate plans, or telling others about your goal. These actions feel productive and give you the satisfying sensation that you are moving forward. However, this is often a sophisticated form of procrastination because these early steps lack the friction and vulnerability of actual execution. They provide a false sense of accomplishment without requiring the grit necessary to produce tangible results. You are essentially mistaking the motion of gathering resources for the momentum of progress. This initial high is fleeting. Once the novelty wears off and the work demands true focus, the lack of real advancement leads to a collapse in motivation. Consequently, you burn out, leaving the project abandoned before the substantive effort has ever truly commenced. The fear of finality often operates as a silent, subconscious deterrent to completing any meaningful pursuit. When a project remains in the development phase, it exists in a state of pure, untainted potential, protected by a comfort of what could be. As long as your work is unfinished, it is immune to the harsh scrutiny of the world, allowing you to maintain the illusion that it is a masterpiece in waiting. However, the act of finishing forces that potential to manifest into reality, where it is finally subject to external judgment, criticism, and the cold metrics of success or failure. While you leave a task incomplete, you preserve a sense of safety, avoiding the risk of finding out that your best effort did not meet your expectations or the standards of others. This avoidance mechanism is a defensive barrier constructed by the ego to protect itself from vulnerability. You are not quitting because of a lack of ability, but rather because you are subconsciously terrified of the definitive verdict that comes only when a project is truly finished. The definiteness of purpose depth serves as the most significant barrier between initial enthusiasm and ultimate achievement, as a goal without a crystal clear map is merely a wish. Most people attempt to build their future on the shifting sands of vague intentions, such as wanting to be successful or desiring more wealth. Because their aim is imprecise, their subconscious mind lacks a specific directive to follow and challenges inevitably arise. But your objective is ill-defined. Any obstacle, no matter how minor, becomes a logical justification for retreat because the cost of giving up seems lower than the effort of pushing through a foggy path. Conversely, when you possess a singular, burning definiteness of purpose, you see a psychological anchor that stabilizes your resolve. This clarity transforms obstacles into mere speed bumps rather than dead ends, allowing you to filter out distractions and focus your limited energy exclusively on actions that align with your outcome. Without this rigid commitment to a specific destination, you are essentially a ship without a rudder, destined to drift away from your goals the moment the winds of adversity pick up. Every unfinished task you leave in your wake functions as an open loop that drains your cognitive bandwidth, silently sapping the mental energy required to reach your true potential. These abandoned projects lingering like unread emails or half-painted canvas act as constant, subconscious reminders of your failure to follow through. This persistent background noise creates a state of mental clutter where your focus is fragmented across a dozen different directions rather than concentrated on the one mission that matters. Each time you start something new without resolving what came before, you are adding weight to an already overburdened mind, making it increasingly difficult to engage in the deep, undistracted work necessary for mastery. You become trapped in a cycle of maintenance, constantly worrying about the debris of your past efforts rather than utilizing your creative power to forge something new. By failing to close these loops, you diminish your capacity to execute, turning your mind into a cluttered warehouse of potential that never matures into reality. The pursuit of long-term achievement is frequently derailed by the human tendency to prioritize the thrill of the new over the discipline of the necessary. Mastery is rarely born from the initial spark of inspiration. Rather, it is forged at the fires of persistence, when the novelty of a project inevitably fades. Most individuals find it effortless to remain engaged when they are fueled by the adrenaline of a fresh beginning, but they falter the moment they encounter the tedious, repetitive, and unglamorous aspects of their work. True excellence requires the ability to transcend this loss of interest by developing a commitment that is anchored in character rather than mood. It is the capacity to endure the mundane stages of a process, the daily, quiet efforts that do not provide immediate gratification, that separates the achiever from the dreamer. By failing to bridge the gap between initial excitement and consistent, disciplined execution, you allow your progress to stagnate the moment the task stops feeling like a grand adventure and starts feeling like actual work. The transmutation of desire into sustained action is the fundamental mechanism that converts abstract ambition into concrete reality. Many people experience desire as a form of restless, emotional energy, a fleeting wish that rarely survives the friction of reality. To achieve, one must learn to transmute this raw, volatile emotion into the hardened state of persistent, directed effort. This process is not passive. It is a deliberate exercise in willpower where you take the fire of your initial motivation and focus it through the lens of systematic labor. When the enthusiasm that birthed your idea begins to flicker, the habit of transmutation ensures that you do not abandon your post. Instead, you rely on a disciplined, structural commitment that persists regardless of your emotional state. Persistence acts as the binding agent of your character, providing the necessary density and durability to withstand the pressure of setbacks. By mastering the ability to channel your internal drive into unwavering action, you gain the strength to transform your potential into a finished result. The road to completion is not paved with grand gestures or sudden bursts of genius, but with the quiet, relentless power of the decision to finish what you started. Every half-finished endeavor you leave behind is a monument to a version of yourself that surrendered to soon be. Today, you have the power to break that cycle. Stop looking for the perfect conditions or the fading ghost of your initial excitement. Instead, grip your purpose with both hands and refuse to let go until the work is done. Your success is not found in the starting line. It is found in the grit you summon when the finish line seems miles away. You possess the innate strength to turn your visions into realities, provided you hold your course through the storm. Believe in the power of your own persistence, for it is the only currency that buys greatness. I thank you for your time and your commitment to your own growth. Good luck as you embark on the path of the finisher. For more insights on mastering the science of achievement and building the mindset of the winner, make sure to follow my channel, Mind Wealth Theory. Stay focused, stay consistent, and turn your dreams into finished realities.